So I thought to myself, where can I take my festive friends for a special Christmas Eve edition of Vlogmas with Queenie in London? I have brought you to what was once a gated Georgian street by the name of Doughty, and Doughty Street at number 48 was the one-time home of someone very, very Christmassy. So hello festive friends, you will be watching this on Christmas Eve. For me it's Christmas Eve. So happy Christmas Eve. I hope you're all having a lovely day so far and long may it continue. I am just walking down Doughty Street, which was the one-time home of Mr. Christmas, Mr. Charles Dickens. So Charles Dickens lived here, where you can see the sign, from 1837 until 1839, and it was in this very house coming up that he wrote many of his famous works, including the Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist, Nicholas Nickleby and Barnaby Rudge. So in there magic happened, and I believe it's all dolled up for Christmas. So why don't we get on inside and have a look at how Charles and Victorians would celebrate Christmas. So 48 to 49 is right here, and as you can see, Charles and his family have got some garlands going along his railings. That's a very old London thing. I love that. I'm expecting to see a lot of evergreens. They've got wreaths on the doors because evergreens were important to the Victorians. They symbolised a very Christian thing of everlasting life and hope after winter bleakness. I love the colour that he's got his doors as well. Just look how beautiful the clock is here, and all the beautiful original features. And look at the staircase. So we've got two routes looking on this level. How is this for a dining room? I love the greenery over the mantel, and they've got the candles, and look, the table is set for Christmas dinner. They did a lot of entertaining here, and look at the place settings. I try and get you as many details from each room as I can, but this is a very popular little place. Look, this is how all the seating's arranged. So pretty. There's some goodies here on this little hostess trolley. Charles Dickens's wife was quite the cook. She even published her own cookbooks. What a beautiful room. I'm loving the colour on the walls as well, and that's a lovely view out to the other houses. And look at that grandfather clock. During December, I've been reading Washington Irving's Old Christmas, which was published in the sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon between 1819 and 1820. This beautiful little book documents the journey of Crayon through rural Yorkshire to celebrate Christmas with an old friend by the name of Bracebridge. Bracebridge's father, the lord of the manor, is a stickler for the old traditions, and Irving's depictions of the customs, decorations and foods of an old-fashioned Christmas struck his American audience. It is said that Clement Clarke Moore had read Irving's Old Christmas, and it was Irving's beautiful, heart-warming seasonal tale that inspired him to write 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Clarke Moore wasn't the only person to be deeply affected by this little work. At the time of its publication, Dickens would have been just 8, and in later years he would write to Irving and tell him how he had influenced his own Christmas writings. The pair even met during Dickens' American tour in 1842. Dickens once said, "I hold communion with Irving's spirit oftener perhaps than any other person alive." We're now in the morning room, which was Catherine Dickens's domain. Whilst you cast your eyes over the artefacts in this splendid room, I thought I'd recommend 3 of Dickens' lesser-known festive works: The Christmas Tree, The Christmas Dinner, and What Christmas Is As We Grow Older. All of them appeared in Household Words, which was a magazine edited by Dickens, and were written about a decade after he lived in this very house. This Christmas, I really wanted to read more of Dickens's Christmas writings, and they've really added something special to my December. Dickens truly valued Christmas, and it seems to me that he wanted to pass the wonder and traditions of the season on through words, and for this I truly thank him. So I've come down the stairs into the servants' quarters. It is cold down here. Cold. Wow, look at everything. Everything's been prepared. Look at how sweet this is. Little cinnamon sticks. All the fresh fruit. Look at those little pies. I was watching a documentary the other day, and the Georgians basically did Christmas as 12 days of massive eating. Oh, look at the copper kettles. How sweet, everything. I don't think any of these are Dickens' actual belongings, but they're they're the real deal from the time. Even in the servants' quarters, there's some little bits of greenery. Look at this dresser. It's the stuff of dreams right there. And they've got little step stools to get up to the top shelves. And there's greenery everywhere. All the china, little gravy boats. There's a little table here. And look, hedgehogs in the kitchen. I read about this. It's because they were there to eat the insects. Spot the hedgehog. And this is beautiful. This china. Look at the rolling pin, even set amongst its own greenery. There's some info for you. You can see that. It's quite dim in here, down in the servants' quarters. We're heading upstairs. This is gorgeous. I literally just feel like I'm walking around my friend's house. So nice. Look how beautiful it all looks. Been kept lovely. They saved this house from dereliction in the 1920s. I think across the hall is the room I'm most looking forward to seeing. I believe this is Dickens's study. So this very desk stood in the bay window of Dickens's home at Gad's Hill Place. It is the very one at which he wrote A Tale of Two Cities and Great Expectations. How incredible. And those little things are things that were given to Dickens. He's got decorations on top of his desk as well. And over here, these bookcases are quite something. They go right the way to the top of these very, very high ceilings. all these books, of which the lower two shelves are Dickens's actual books, and there's manuscripts in there too which contain his handwriting and correspondence, so that's pretty incredible. Look at this as well, pulls out. So this would have been the room in which Oliver Twist was written. Looking out here, oh look, they've got some lights in the garden. There's a little cafe here which is really, really sweet. And here there's more books, again going all the way up. I'll try and get you some details. This is a very popular room. A lovely fire in the fireplace here, look. A very cosy room which leads into the drawing room. Dickens has decked his working chambers with beautiful garland and candles. I made a New Year's resolution whilst standing in wonder in this room to read more Dickens in 2025. I'm also after recommendations for brilliant Dickens biographies, so please feel free to leave me a comment if you've read a great one. Dickens wrote from breakfast till lunch every day. He used a quill and ink. The books held in these floor-to-ceiling cases are just a tiny amount of the collection looked after by the National Dickens Library. One of these books, Robinson Crusoe, Dickens' own copy, was particularly cherished by Charles. He loved it as a boy, and he often referred to it in his writings. It is the favourite book of the young Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. In this beautiful, beautiful room, which I was quite taken with, can you tell? There were also letters written by Dickens in his own hand, in which he discusses his work on the books that were written within these very four walls. How incredible is that? Talk about a sense of history. I just love it. It all would have happened in here. This is the drawing room, and this is the main entertaining space. So on Christmas you'd have everybody gathered around the fireplace and the beautiful tree and someone playing the piano. Everything like you'd read in Pickwick Papers, Charles Dickens would have done in here. I'm loving those beautiful red curtains, aren't they fantastic? There's a wreath, there's a tree, beautiful mirrors, everything set out over here, nice bottle. Heck. What do we have? Nice fruits set out, readings by Dickens. Speaking of readings by Dickens, I'll show you something behind me. So Charles Dickens was one of the first writers to actually go on tour, and he was quite a showman when he did his readings. And I read somewhere that he actually constructed this podium himself, very, very theatrical, and he also read during dinner times with his family and put on quite a show. What a dad to have. I bet he did some brilliant bedtime stories. We've got a tree, and Dickens is reading. Look how lovely. The candles were a big, big part of this. So the tree came to England, it was popularised by a picture in the Illustrated London News by Victoria and Albert in 1848, I believe. But before then, Queen Caroline used to have a yew tree outside her palace. The trees were in England. Would Dickens have had a tree in the house when he lived here in 1837 to 1839? Very likely, because he was very, very fashionable. See, Dickens understood the importance of the Christmas tree and how it was decorated. That very quote was used by me right at the beginning of Vlogmas. Look what he's got on his tree. This is a little exhibition space, and by the looks of it, it's all about like animals in Dickens. So you've got dogs in Dickens here. I've got cats in Dickens behind me. This changes, I believe. Look. Look at these books. Like first editions. This is cats in Dickens, and apparently in Bleak House there are, alone, just Bleak House, there are 90 references to cats. This family in this photo, they've brought their pets out to be photographed as well, demonstrating that they considered the Victorians pets part of the family, and they all knew Dickens and they acted in his productions, adaptations of his works. And of course, that there is Barnaby Rudge with Grip. All the clocks in the house are actually chiming. Quite magical. Okay, so I'm going to head up the stairs, another flight of stairs, to the next floor, and I wonder what we're going to find up here. So just off this landing, you have a little room there, and the bedroom. Let's explore. This here is Dickens's little dressing room. It's got everything he needs. Very functional. This is a good size dressing room, Dickens. Known for being a bit of a dandy. So I reckon this is the Dickens's bedroom. I read that when they moved in here, Charles and Catherine had only just got married. So this is their marital bedchamber. There's a lot of furniture in here. It's a brilliant size room. Beautiful. I'll try and zoom you out a bit. 4-poster. Gorgeous. I love all this wood. Dressing table in the corner there. Let me see if I can hunt you out some info. This is interesting. This mirror was used at Gad's Hill in Kent, and Dickens used to perform in front of the mirrors the parts of his characters so that he could see them. Wow. I think we have another bedroom up here. Yes, we do. This is an important one. So this is Mary Hogarth's room, who was Catherine Dickens's wife. Catherine was her sister, and she died in this very room. It wasn't uncommon to have members of the family living with married couples at this time, and Dickens was so devastated by Mary's death, and he wrote about finding her, and this is her room, and where her nightdress is laid out. So this room is very concerned with death, because that bust over there, I was just reading, was made for Dickens after he died. And Dickens, of course, he always refused to have a statue or a monument to him, and he's buried in Westminster Abbey. And then over in the corner here are all letters relating to Dickens's health, which I'll pop in some footage of you to have a read. Another floor. Well, they must be really fit to live here. That there, from A Tale of Two Cities, is one of my favourite Dickens's quotes. So when Dickens was 12, his dad was imprisoned for debt. So Dickens had to go and work in a blacking factory, and he put labels onto bottles like these. You can have a little read down there, and I have something else to show you from that time too. These objects all relate to Dickens's childhood, but this tiny little letter is the first ever example we have of Dickens's writing. So when he was in the blacking factory, he wrote this. This is actually an incredibly brilliant copy because the original is way too sensitive to light to be on display, and is obviously very treasured. So that's the first ever example, that tiny little letter of Dickens' writing. This here is the Dickens Family Bible. This grill here they've used is actually from Marshalsea debtors' prison, so it's an actual relic, but it's really strange how they've used it because there's all the artefacts from Dickens's childhood, and here's the nursery. It's kind of eerie having the prison bars. I guess it kind of shows that Dickens's childhood wasn't at all like that of his children. They've got paper chains. A lot of paper chains. The little ones have been working hard. There is a lovely little cafe through there, and obviously there's loads of things that you can buy in this little bit here, and in the main gift shop here. It's adorable. You actually enter the museum through that way, and then you come out through this way. All these lovely little Christmassy goodies. I love these actual like little copies of what Christmas Carol originally looked like when it was published. So I have just finished in the really lovely Charles Dickens Museum here on Doughty Street. That was so fun. I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed having a little look at all the books and the actual editions that they had in there. I thought that was a pretty spectacular collection. So Dickens actually left Doughty Street in 1839 to move to a bigger house on Devonshire Terrace, not a million miles away from here. This is Bloomsbury, by the way, an area which has long been associated with writers. Obviously during the 1920s you had the Bloomsbury set. So Dickens moved about quite a lot because he had a very rapidly expanding family. So it was really nice to come to, I think this is one of only 2 remaining houses that Dickens actually lived in. So that is real living history. Always fantastic when they open it up to the public so that they can come and step inside somebody's actual home. Amazing. The home of a national treasure, Charles Dickens, for you on Christmas Eve. So festive friends, as this Christmas Eve vlog was all about an author, I wanted to wrap things up before I do my actual wrapping with a big thank you and a shout out to one of you lovely lot who happens to be the author of this wonderful, wonderful book. Patricia was kind enough to send me her book, Behind the Scarlet Letter. If you're familiar with Nathaniel Hawthorne's 1850 classic and you love historical fiction, this book is for you. What is truly spectacular about it is the fact that the characters within these pages are real life people. They faced real life consequences for their actions. This goes beyond and behind the Scarlet Letter. If you ever read something and wanted a little bit more to make those characters pop, to bring them to life, to give them more of a backstory, this is something that will satisfy that craving. This is a piece of writing which uncovers hidden true stories behind major cultural shifts. And because of the nature of the story, it has real contemporary significance in today's tumultuous world. I love turning the pages of a book where I can feel the author has really done some major legwork in terms of their research. I've only read about 60 pages and I feel like I'm in safe hands with someone who has committed themselves to telling these people's stories and telling them well and with respect. This is something you really get your teeth into. In my mind, it's the perfect read to have in front of you in January. This is page-turning, stimulating stuff, and I'm so incredibly grateful that it's now in my life. It was such a brilliant thing, the best gift to receive in December. So thank you so much to Patricia. It's been a real pleasure and a treat talking to you about your work. You're a total inspiration as a writer, and I cannot wait to speak about this book with you more in 2025 when I have lapped it all up. I'm wishing you such a very, very Merry Christmas to you and your family. Loads of love. Mwah. Here I am. It's actually Christmas Eve now, festive friends, and I'm pretty excited. Everything's kicking off around here. Everything's full go. I've still got wrapping to do, but it wouldn't be Christmas Eve if there wasn't wrapping. Settle down, get cozy, get some wine, put the tunes on, do the wrapping. That's what I love. Love that. I also think we're going to get a bit of a festive takeaway in a bit of a festive pizza, so that sounds good to me. I hope you've had a really lovely day and not had to rush around too much. I really hope you enjoyed the visit to the Dickens Museum, and I hope it brings you a little bit of Dickens spirit into your Christmas Eve evening and into your Christmas day. I want to say thank you, not just for watching the vlog. I hope I can do this because I have attempted to do it 3 times now and I got a bit but thank you for all your beautiful messages, the way that you've taken the time to leave comments on all my Vlogmas videos and to send me emails with pictures and Instagram messages. Such heartfelt and warm words. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. They have meant absolutely everything and made December Christmassy for me. This is what Christmas is. It's just a lovely thing. Thank you. I am in the company of really good friends with you guys. You keep me company all around London, and I thank you for that. You're all lovely, and I hope you have the best evening. Secondly, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. You guys love that build up as much as I do, else you wouldn't be watching the videos. Now we're actually here, I hope you have the happiest and the merriest of Christmases. I really hope you do have the best time. Gather everybody you love round you, treasure them, and have the best time and enjoy everything you love, everything. Don't work too hard. Don't slave in that kitchen too hard. Have a good time in the kitchen if you're in the kitchen. And if you're on your own, know that you are not on your own. Click on a video and walk around with me and have a good time. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the nicest December. I always love spending time with you. So I'm going to leave this vlog here. I'm going to crack on with that wrapping, and I am so looking forward to giving out the presents. I can't wait for Christmas morning, and I bet you can't too. Thank you again. I've said thank you a lot. Please take good care of yourselves. Have the most magical time. All my love from very Christmassy London, Queenie. Merry Christmas.